And welcome, chat. Welcome to a live stream. I was going to say watch along because we're quite used to doing them anyway. But hope you've had a fantastic weekend, everyone. When I was speaking about the McAllister news that seems to be just going on day after day after day. Apologies, I haven't been doing last video I done was like 3-4 days ago. But I just didn't want to bombard you with a load of videos. I know it could have been quite easy to do a McAllister video like every single day, but I think the news that we've been getting that's been generated from the press in the last 3-4 days, it's very much been very similar stories, similar headlines as well. And as the title does indicate in tonight's live stream, we're just very much, it's a waiting game in relation to McAllister. I don't know if you've seen the video, but there is one on social media in relation to McAllister's cousin supposedly not openly speaking about obviously his cousin getting a move to Liverpool, but he was asked by the reporter, is he going to be going to Liverpool? And didn't give a yes answer. He just looked at the reporter and just said, move on to the next question. But big up, chat. Big up, mate. But yeah, Kingsley, me too, mate. We are closer and we're closer and this and that. But yeah, hope you had a good day, a good weekend, Kingsley. And as I said, mate, if you're a Liverpool fan and you're around when the Nabil Fekir news, Fekir basically, literally, as we all know, and we found out a couple of years later that he did do an interview for Liverpool TV. The club officials had put him in a Liverpool kit, they'd done everything. And then the last bit of medical, the last signing off of the Fekir paperwork, it didn't go through, and he was never a Liverpool player. So it was disappointing, and that was probably like, I'd say that was bigger than McAllister in relation to obviously the traction on social media as well, and how much media attention that did garner in relation to that transfer. But yeah, McAllister, yeah, I'm saying with you, Kingsley, as I said, hence why I haven't really done another video on my TikTok or my YouTube anyway, because it's more of the same of the same in reality, really. There's not until, as I say to everyone, as I said, we speak about rumours, speak about transfers as well, but until, I say to everyone, until it's official announcements on Liverpool official club sources, i.e. the website, on all their social media accounts, and where McAllister or whoever Liverpool are going to be signing in the next couple of weeks, then that is your official source. Not me, Liverpool Football Club. Go on the website, and then when they're saying it, then of course we've signed the player X, Y, Z, whoever that is in relation. But big up there, Gary. How we doing, mate? And Gary said next Kone, and hopefully for and fingers crossed, La. Yeah, how's your weekend being, Gary? In chat as well. As I said, we're gonna have a little discussion in reality in terms of, see, Zlatan. If you missed it tonight, an icon of football, especially in my generation of supporting football in general, Liverpool as well. But he's a lad that I used to grow up watching. I was sat in IT lessons watching compilations of him doing stuff as a young lad at Malmo, going to Ajax and then to Juventus, Inter. Everyone knows where he's been, and he's always been so successful at any football club in which he has been. Even at that stint at Manchester United, he's done an absolutely tremendous job. Him and Mourinho winning, was it the Europa League and the FA Cup or the League Cup, whatever. He did win it at Manchester United. So, and even me, I was saying when he come to England, I thought he would have been too old and the game would have passed him, would have been too physical for Zlatan. But Zlatan said, and Zlatan does, and Zlatan achieves what he says. He's probably one of the most confident people in football, Zlatan. But what is it? Zlatan says no to no man, or no one says no to Zlatan. But what a go to football. He's a character, and I think the more characters we do lose in football, he's very unique, Zlatan. Very unique in the way in which not just he plays football, but the way in which he presents himself. You need more characters like that. Very unique, and that's one of the characteristics that I do like about Zlatan. And he got like a black belt, which is even mad anyway. So probably batty on the football pitch as well. But evening, gents. How are we, Wigs? Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you've all had a good weekend. As I said, I'm very same like reviews. I probably would for the YouTube algorithm and all that. It'd be good to just keep on putting McAllister in the titles and all that. So apologies for not being really McAllister video every 10 minutes or something. As I said, done a TikTok video, like, was it 4 or 5 days ago? More or less the exact same video, which it was, just reformatted that I created. And yeah, don't want to be spamming the channels really with videos. Yeah, Kingsley was, mate, 100%. Big up there, Doug. Hopefully you and the missus are keeping well, mate, as I said. Incoming baby, so I know you'll be looking forward to that, mate, and get as much rest as you possibly can before the little one does turn up. But look after yourself, Zlatan. Yeah, could slam a revolving door, mate. Wiggs, he's a big lad, isn't he? Zlatan, he's 6. Is he 6'5", 6'6"? He's a big fella, but you won't mess with him. None of us would. But yeah, as Kingsley said, and if you are new around here, everyone, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Put your notification bell on as well. We are on TikTok. If you do like your shorter form content, we do tend to. I'm trying to get to 10k. We're getting there. I think we're on like 2,500 followers on TikTok, which is great. So appreciate everyone for the follows on that. So keep an eye on those social channels on Facebook as well. You can find us on all of them really. But in terms of Kingsley's comments, the Fekir deal was crazy too. Much build up and eventually collapsed at the Diamond. Deloric Remy 1-2. Good shout there, mate. Yeah, it's another one that I think a lot of people do forget. Hope for the other targets will just go and bang and bring them in similar to Gakpo. Yeah, and Kingsley, the ideal one in relation to Liverpool transfers, mate, would be the Fabinho transfer. I think it was straight after the Champions League final. I think it was like 48 hours after that. Liverpool announced a certain Brazilian number 6 coming in from Monaco. I didn't know. I don't think the majority, 99% of the press, not just in England but abroad as well, didn't know nothing about Fabinho coming to Liverpool. As much as people say they do, no. No one got wind of that in the press, which was amazing. Hopefully that would be ideal. But in relation to Liverpool's targets, we've lost Naby, lost Ox, lost Bobby as well. Who's the other midfield that we've lost? Milner. And we've lost all the players that we have. And of course, Thiago's coming to the last 12 months of his contract after this season. So the whole of Europe knows Liverpool need to sign midfielders. Everyone's nans, grands, dogs, knows that Liverpool will be in the market, not just for one midfielder this summer, but it'll be for at least 2 to 3 midfielders in reality. So yeah, it's as the press does, and in terms of media as well, if you put in terms of selling newspapers or getting clicks on websites and all that, Liverpool is Liverpool FC. It's a massive corporation, massive business, generates clicks, and it generates first and foremost traffic on every form of media. So yeah, they'll just drop a Liverpool FC, even if it's just a random player, and Liverpool are quite clearly not in. Like you say, it was like a bloody left winger for about 100 million. Liverpool land on it going for them. But yeah, big up there, Callum. Hope you're well, mate. All good, Jack. But yeah, not too bad, Wiggs. It was good. Obviously, your division, was it last week or the week before? That was a bit mad in town, which was great. It was great for the city, great for everyone really, in terms of businesses, and it was chock-a-blocker. But yeah, it was really good. And yeah, I'm trying to sort out the backdrop as well, everyone. So apologies. You know, I usually have my green screen, but that's too much faffing about. So hopefully next season I will have some nice pictures, hopefully. Behind me, much more easier, really. Because you know me, if I'm doing a watch along and I celebrate and the green screen falls over midstream, yeah, it's not ideal. So it happens a couple of times this season, so we had to rethink the restructuring of the set, to say the least anyway. I don't know, I'm still awake. These five-a-sides. Where do you play, Wiggs? Do you play in like the Civ or the one by Anfield Road? Don't know. Obviously the one it was like 10 minutes away from Anfield, the ground in reality, or the Civ or Fortin. Do you play? Let us know all that. So I say, you don't want me anywhere near your five-a-side, Wiggs. I'd last about 2 seconds, that. But in terms of it was good, and most importantly, they're all keeping safe chat. As I said, In terms, we'll start with the McAllister one, really, I think, but more or less indicating what we've already seen in the last 4 or 5 days. We don't know too much as of yet. I think if you follow Fabrizio Romano on all of his socials, he is the master, and hence why what has he got? Has he got like 8 million followers, or probably 10 million followers on Twitter now? He's very good at his job in terms of his contacts and everything. He's probably one of the best journos out there. But that's mainly why he's so big. His contacts. I've had these debates with people going, he's a tapping merchant. No, he's not a tapping merchant. He does credit a lot of journos as well, I'll say that. But in terms of his journalistic point of view, he's got so many people he knows as agents. So he only has to like send a message or drop a message to say, what's this deal up to? And 9 times out of 10, a lot of the journos in which he's got contacts with, that's what journalism's all about. You need contacts in different avenues, different media outlets, different clubs and all that. It's just about your communication factor as well. But but more or less not an official as of yet, and currently on club sources from McAllister. I anticipate, and as the majority, Fabrizio and all the very well-respected journalists over the last 3 to 4 days have more or less said what they've all said. It's just a matter of when, not if, for McAllister coming to Liverpool. I think, as a lot of the journals have said, over the last 3-4 days, it will be getting announced either this week, anytime. It could be tomorrow morning, tonight even, when we go to bed. Or, because obviously a lot of the printed press has to be getting, I think, finished about 10 p.m. So, obviously getting the headlines, hence why you get a lot of the press releases earlier on and late at night. That's why a lot of news does break. So a lot of that just gets printed, and then you'll see it in the morning papers at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning when on your way to work as well. But yeah, it's just a waiting game in relation to McAllister as well, though, chat. So fingers crossed. But yeah, hopefully it does get announced. I'd love him, chat. I'm speaking to you as well in reality in terms of the last couple of weeks, and as I said, not seen a lot of Brighton. You know me, I've done a lot of the World Cup watch-alongs, watched a lot, well, it was like 95% of Argentina's games as well, and what a final that was, Argentina versus France. But the little moments, little games I've seen, and you can't do it on any bigger stage than the World Cup as well, in terms of the final and the semi-finals as well. He's a player that looks like he can deal with sheer immense pressure, and that's one of the biggest factors, regardless of obviously the quality first and foremost is paramount for anyone that Liverpool do bring in, but in terms of dealing with the pressure as a footballer, especially if you come into Liverpool, if you come into City, you come into Barcelona, Real Madrid, whoever that is, a big club, you need to be able to deal with the pressure, because we've seen Aquilani, for example, come with a decent-ish record at the time for 20-odd million, especially coming off the back of Xabi Alonso and Mascherano exiting the football club. It was never going to work. Injuries permitted, yeah, it just wasn't going to work out. And we've seen players Liverpool shoot it down, and I thought that was going to be a match made in heaven, but here's to say, didn't work out. 20 million at the time, which is probably in today's market, probably about, in terms of the exchange rate, probably about 60, 70 million in terms of now, especially when you look at the Andy Carroll deal as well. But Down and Ashley Young, when he played for Aston Villa, were decent players-ish at the time. So yeah, just keep your fingers crossed, chat, and I can't wait. And by all reports, as I said in my video, 4 days now, and a lot of the people in the press over the last couple of days, it's looking like, as I said in that video then, it's looking like it's going to be less than, was it 60-odd million or 70 million? Which, if that is the case, tell you what, we've taken Brighton the cleaners in relation to the fee. But that's what you want. You want to have a good working relationship with Brighton, Liverpool. We don't want to be doing what Arsenal done in the summer window. Was it in January? Where they just wound Brighton up, where they constantly kept on lobbing in bids for Caicedo, and then you were getting rejected, and then Brighton just said, right, sign a new contract and we'll put an exit clause in your contract, potentially for another bigger club to come in and move, or i.e. Whether that be an Arsenal or whoever that was, to in the next 24 months really for Caicedo. If the money's on the table, he's allowed to speak to clubs. So Time will tell. Big up there. Make sure I haven't missed anyone's comments. But yeah, Liverpool need to get, big up there, Gary. Liverpool need to get 12 points from the first games. Liverpool show some sign all three of these players. Liverpool will be. Oh, bloody hell. I love your optimism, Gary, but that's what I love most about you, mate. And all these. And that's what we're going to be going into in terms of. I went in with probably too much. I was giving the big uns. Well, I think all of us were. Let's not forget, we come off the back of a quad chasing Liverpool team. Of course, the lack of fresh legs, the lack of improved quality in that team last summer massively played its toll. But I don't think anyone, hindsight's a wonderful thing after this season. Everyone's like, oh yeah, told you so. No, like the drop off this season was disappointing, and I don't think Jurgen Klopp and the technical staff and the large section of Liverpool's fan base anticipated it. Of course, you can always prejudge events after they've happened with a lot more hindsight and insight, really. But yeah, this summer, last year was a massive warning to Liverpool because financially, not just financially, but in terms of, but mainly the main financials, but Liverpool in terms of when you look at Alisson, you look at Salah, you look at Van Dijk, those three players are, and a couple of players in the team as well, but mainly those three. If you're going to those three next summer, Liverpool are going to miss out on Champions League football again. All three of them love the club so much, but they are players that deserve to be playing Champions League football every single week and competing for the top elite titles of any football club. They have to be a Real Madrid, Manchester City, Liverpool, whoever they play for. They don't deserve, regardless of how bad Virgil's played this season. Virgil's been let down by players around him. He's played bad this season, and a lot of the players have let themselves down. Individual in terms of good weeks, bad weeks as well. But yeah, it was a car crash of a season this year. But we can't allow that to happen, considering the rise in quality of the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa, even. I made up. There you go. Was it Europa League conference they got, and I was made up. And you just don't have to see the great celebrations that the Aston Villa fans did have on the final day. It was absolutely tremendous. That's what football's all about. And I think for the clubs that always get European football chat, I think we do take it for granted. Because you look at Leicester when they got into the Champions League, phenomenal stuff. Obviously, them winning the league was amazing. Obviously, Arsenal back in the big time now. Obviously, did Wenger go on a 17-game run? Or something crazy in terms of continuously getting top four? Of course, you want to be winning the competition. But I think given the squad he was getting, it was like bloody, was it Shamak and Bentner up front and a Biway? Like, that in itself was a massive job done by Arsene Wenger at that time, considering the purse strings in terms of getting the new Emirates Stadium up to running and more or less having a wage bill of probably about 70 million a season in terms of transfers in and about the club as well. But yeah, breaking out of the race to sign Manuel Ugarte. Just make sure I haven't missed anyone's comments. Apologies if you have chats. Well, appreciate you all dropping in. Well, the Arsenal fan circle. Ray, how we doing, mate? As I said, I'll be getting you on very soon, mate. Hope you enjoy your summer, mate, and enjoy, of course, Champions League football. I know you'll be waiting. I'll, you know me, Ray. I always have a good eye on Arsenal. Got a lot of love and respect for Arsenal as a football club. Massive respect in terms of fans as well. So I'll be keeping an eye and enjoy it. I'm excited to see how well Arsenal do in the Champions League next summer. Same with Newcastle as well. Will be interesting. I anticipate them to do well, considering both Arsenal probably need to spend as well. Newcastle need to spend. And could you imagine, chat? Speaking about, obviously, off topic, it's not on the schedule tonight, but Neymar and obviously Messi are leaving. Looks like Neymar potentially might be leaving. Obviously, it was announced this week that Messi, of course, will be leaving the football club, Paris Saint-Germain. And it looks like potentially Neymar might be leaving the football club as well. But time will tell on that one. But Neymar to Newcastle United? Who says no? Because they've got the wage. Well, yeah, they've got the wage structure. Because they've got a lot of money to spend. It was a lot of all that money was saved up with the lack of money spent by Mike Ashley in reality. But yeah, we'll get on to Karim Benzema in a little second as well, chat. Lessons must be learned from last summer. Tragic window, I'd agree, Gary. Nunes was the only quality that we signed, Jack. Yeah, and still people are writing off Nunes. I still think he done well. Could have done better. I think the large majority, all of us could have said Darwin Nunes could have done. But I tell you what, if he done a slight bit better, you would have literally been looking at 20 goals already in his first season. And I think, I'd be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Nunes got more goals than Suarez and certain other couple of strikers Liverpool signed in their first season, especially not understanding fully the tactics that we're getting told to him as well. I think the quicker he does learn English, I think it'll make it so much easier for himself and just give him a lot more confidence in terms of as a footballer and improving. Yeah, it'll get there. And I think when he does get there, Nunes, in terms of just being a lot more confident in front of goal, he will be flying. But most importantly, Liverpool will be absolutely bloody flying. Because if he can double that next season, I'm not saying getting 30 goals in the Prem, but in terms of next season getting 30 goals in all competitions, I think that would be a massive step forward. Because I think it was like 15, 16. Well, apologies, how many goals did Darwin Nunes get this season? Chatting all comps. It was like around 15 goals or something like that, and then plus the assist as well. So he's had for me, a very good season, first season at the club. To pin all the disappointing results on Nunes' shoulders would be very wrong. There was so many underperformers this season. I've got a show tomorrow night, lads and ladies, as well at 7 p.m. Got the lads jumping on anyway. As Doug said there, nice one, mate. Yeah, 15 goals and 4 assists for Darwin Nunes. So that's still very good, considering the chances he did miss. But even if he starts putting a bit more, like 20, 30, 40% of those extra chances that he's missed this season, then yeah, we will be absolutely laughing in reality. Especially if we've got a Jota fully fired in, we've got a Nunes, got a Salah fully fired in, mainly Lucho Diaz as well, in fully fired in. I think we'll be sound. It's not Liverpool would never had an issue with scored and goals, chat, have we? Even at our peak years, even when we won the title. It's about Liverpool when we play well is keeping a clean sheet and getting as the classic saying, but it goes no further. Look at Newcastle, look at Manchester City over the last couple of years, Chelsea, prime years under Mourinho, under Conte as well. Defences win your titles. If Liverpool can sort out the defensive structure next season, I think we'll be a lot more higher up the table, to say the least, anyway. But there's still a long way to go, chat. I'm not saying that was there's still a long way to go. But yeah, big up there, Gary. I was gonna say, yeah, Doug, I thought they were leading the race. He is now PSG. I'll quickly get up this chat. Yeah, have a little gun. Oh, there we go, chat. A nice one for that, Doug. Well, if you just tune in, because it was a massive talking point, Ugarte. Obviously, I would have liked Liverpool to have signed him. I think a lot of Liverpool fans would have. But it's getting mentioned tonight that supposedly, by the looks of it, exclusive Chelsea. Take this with a lot of rumour based anyway, but saying on Twitter, Chelsea bid to sign Ugarte includes buying a stake in Sporting. Player told Sporting he can only join Chelsea, who have offered another 8-year contract. Ugarte has already agreed terms with PSG after the 52 million clause was met. That's mad, but I'd say that was a load of absolute baloney, in all honesty, but it's Chelsea Football Club. Who's to put that past them, really? Todd Bowley, man on a mission in the last 12 months with football. I think my man thinks he's playing fantasy football or FIFA career mode with his checkbook. 600 million spent last summer. Probably going to be north of 300 million spent this season. They've already announced Christopher Nkunku off the back of winning the German Cup. Was it last night or the night before with Salzburg, which was good. Congratulations to him. But I think Nkunku would do really well, chat. If you've not seen a lot of him in the Bundesliga, he's a tremendous player. It's going to be interesting if Chelsea do play him as a 9 or if they do play him as a 10. He's very versatile, the Christopher, in relation to playing the 8, 10. Yeah, you can mix it about anyway. But, or will Chelsea just do what they've done with another 10, i.e. Kai Havertz a couple of years ago when he was at Leverkusen, brought him in for big money, and he didn't bring in, and he was just wasted Kai Havertz, hence he's been linked with Real Madrid. But I was having this debate with Connor this week, really, in relation to Kai Havertz. I still think there's a very good player in there. I just think it was one case in point of similar what happened with Mohamed Salah at Chelsea, when you get a player coming into a football club, i.e. a couple of years too early in terms of his adaptation to the league that he's gone to, or a mix of not getting the right manager and the right tactics. Salah come to Liverpool a couple of years later. Everyone's like, he won't do well, and he's what, 6 seasons under now? He's done well. But I think if Kai Havertz got to move to a more suitable Premier League team or another club in Europe, he'd be absolutely bloody flying. I'll tell you that now. But yeah. So, interest in that, chat. I think that's one to keep an eye on. You gotta say, if that is true, then bloody hell. I think when you're talking about buying stakes in a football club, surely that has to be breaking some regulation in reality in terms of that, chat. But time will tell, which will be a bit mad. But yeah, playing indoor, mate. It's great though. High intensity for 80 minutes usually. Oh, big up there, weeks. Happy days, mate. Good bit of exercise as well, mate. I miss me football. Sadly, I can't play as much as I can now. Yeah, big up there, right? Big up, matey. Happy days. But I'll speak to you soon, mate. And keep on smashing the videos. Please, everyone, make sure you head over to the Anfield Arsenal Fan Circle channel as well. But yeah, Wiggs, Jack Foran or Kone, if you had to choose one. Wiggs, in terms of me, as I said, not avid watchers of Nice or Gladbach, but whenever you're having a little look at the data and the statistics, when I was doing my videos a couple of days ago, for the price mainly, if you're looking at getting 25 million for Kone, I think that's an absolute steal. For the type of player you're getting, a more out-and-out number 6, but he can play in that 8 if needs be, but he's predominantly a number 6. Central defensive midfielder. Both French. I think Kone's just off the back of playing in the under-21s for France in the World Cup. But both of them have got a massive reputation in terms of French football. But for me, Wiggs, in terms of the fee and analysing the whole player as a whole, I think we're more in desperate need of course, an 8. And obviously playing in those Curtis Jones and the Harvey Elliott roles in front of obviously, if Liverpool do go to that 3-2-2-3 formation next season, you're looking at the 2 6s in terms of Trent, and then whoever plays there. I think Fabinho needs help. He's been off form, so Kone going absolutely spot on there alongside Trent. He's got the athletic ability in terms of his ball retention as well. When he's got that ball at his feet in terms of spatial awareness, it's really so good, so much good. But for them, apologies on the pronunciation, chat. I've already had about 1 million conversations. As I said, I'm much better Scouse than me French. Don't worry, I'm not going to do a Joey Barton. Oui. But yeah, in terms of Foran, very talented player. Ticks the boxes exactly what Liverpool need. Athletic, dynamic. But in terms of Nice this season, he's been a lot more forward progressing in terms of trying to get into that final third of the pitch. The more advanced left central midfield in a 4-3-3 formation for Nice this year as well. So I think that's something that he could potentially be adding to his game. So time will tell. But I think Foran probably will go for about 50 to 60 million, but anything less than 50 million, I think Liverpool really need to keep an eye on that one in reality. But I think, yeah, I'd say Kone. I think the Kone one makes a lot more sense considering our George, our new sporting director for 3 months, his son is just looking like going to be becoming the sport. Is it the Gladbach director of football? So you know how that's going to work. Funny things have happened in football. Um, but yeah, the cards seem to have fell into Liverpool's lap. If you're playing a game of poker, you'd put you if you're a house or like you've got a good set of hands, what Liverpool looks like we've got, you'd be putting all your dough in the middle and saying, yeah, I'd put quite a 95%. I'd say the Kone deal will happen for 25 million. I think Liverpool, and supposedly Liverpool are his favourite club, Kone. So yeah, I think PSG are going to go for your Garces, Andrew. Chelsea are going to go for Saicedo. Gives LFC a massive boost. For them from Nice, because I think PSG were one of the teams interested. Yeah, time will tell, Andrew, in relation to that. Klopp has to start rotating. Yeah, definitely much. Defo there, Gary. Big up there, Connor. Nice one for dropping in, mate. But we'll quickly move on in terms of the Benzema one chat. I wanted to mention this as well because it's a massive story that has been dominating the press in the last 48 hours anyway. What are we saying on Karim Benzema? Do we anticipate him to go to a bigger club? I think he's been announced that he has gone to Saudi Arabia. I think reporters stating that he's been given 200 million in terms of his, I don't know if that's yearly, but in terms of his contract. And yeah, fair enough to the Saudi League. They've got the money, as I said. And as Ronaldo's come out over the last couple of weeks, he wants to grow the presence from a world point of view as well, trying to attract a lot more players to that league as well. They've got the money, so I'll tell you what, I have a lot more higher profile players. Who look at Benzema, Ronaldo, it will always attract big players, especially in the next 5-10 year period. If you get a lot more of the, say, 25 to 26-year-old players going at their peak, do go to the Saudi League. I think that's the only way that you will grow the profile, and all for them. Like, go for it, miss. In terms of for any league for that matter, if you want to grow their presence and improve their league, it will be interesting. But I think Benzema, if he does go there, it's a massive pull for the league as well, and not just in terms of Benzema. I think he's now 35, 36. For everything he's won as a professional footballer, moved to Real Madrid, I think it was at the age of 21 from a young lad from Lyon, off the back of winning the championship. I think he won, was it 2 championships with Lyon in Ligue 1 as a youngster anyway. Very highly regarded. They were very good at that time, Lyon, when he was a youngster. And he went to Real Madrid and never looked back in reality. Serial Champions League winner, all the records, 4 times La Liga champion. Yeah, he is, for me, he's going to be going down as one of the biggest greats in the football club anyway. He's been nothing short of amazing. Knocked us out the Champions League, didn't he, Karim Benzema? But yeah, you can't doubt the lad's quality, Karim. And all the best for him anyway as well. At the age of 35, I still think he can do a job for a good 2-3 years if he's got the right service behind him anyway. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Gary, even if it meant taking Benzema to Liverpool for a year, I'd still think he could definitely do a job at Liverpool, but I don't think Liverpool will sign him. Would Newcastle put a bid in? You never know. If they offer the right enough of the wage, I wouldn't put it past Newcastle or another Premier League club, for that example. There's that much money in the Premier League nowadays, chat. Yeah, the top players, and regardless of what age they are, the Premier League is the Super League, and every player wants to play in the Premier League. You look at the managers, look at the job Unai Emery's doing. Marcus Asensio was very close to joining Aston Villa by all accounts, but obviously agreed to join PSG, which was interesting enough. But yeah, we'll move on to the last story now, everyone. Shout out to the young lad Gabri Veiga as well. I've seen his chat on fire again with a brace versus Barcelona tonight to keep Celta Vigo in La Liga. He was born in 2002. Midfielder completes a top season with 11 goals and 4 assists, and he will leave Celta Vigo this summer. So not too bad. Not just Barca, but obviously Premier League clubs are also interested. Release clause is 40 million, so that's another youngster to keep an eye on. But I just have flashbacks to Celta Vigo, us signing a certain Iago Aspas. Flashbacks to that corner. Big up there, North. Big up there, North. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you had a good weekend, mate. Thank you for tuning in. And I think if the Saudi League potentially there, North, yeah. As I said, it's got the backing that a lot of the clubs have got as well, and like the Premier League, as I've just said with them, the leagues with the most money will of course generate a lot more of the interest for a lot of the players. But I think give it another 5-10 years, I think the Saudi League will massively progress. I think over the last 12 months, the higher profile players that have come to the league have helped, and yeah, I'll tell you what, if you continue developing, getting teams, getting better players, better facilities as well, I don't think it will be that far off competing. And the way in which UEFA and a lot of the club competitions have become over the last 5-10 year period, the expanding even bigger and reaching out to more corners of the globe, which is a lot more accessibility for a lot of clubs around the world. And there should always be that ability to really get into these potential. With UEFA and FIFA, there's always going to be club competitions for every club around the world to really, I think long term, in the next 20-30 years, we will see a lot more of a global league, to say anyway. Be mad if Kane ended up at Real Madrid. I tell you what, that day, I've been speaking to a couple of lads this week. Chat, what we're saying, where's Kane going? That's a whole show in itself. For me, I've always said it. Kane's going nowhere outside of England, just only due to the fact of the record in which he's currently got. He's not that far behind Alan Shearer, is he? But if Haaland stays in the Prem for 10 years, or probably less than 10 years, Haaland will probably beat Shearer's record in about, at this rate, probably about 2 seasons. If he carries on, it's ridiculous, Haaland, the stuff he's doing. But yeah, I'd say he's going to go to... Surely got to go to Man United, Kane, and he. If I was Kane, I'd be going to United. Because they pay the fee, and obviously you got Champions League football as well. Ask a shout, chat. Would Kane have scored more or the same amount of goals as Haaland this season? For me, I think Kane would have scored more for City than Haaland's done this season. Just my 2 pence, very... And that's not me saying Haaland's a bad player. I absolutely love Haaland. I prefer Haaland over to Kylian Mbappe anyway. And it was mad that people were saying when he come to the league, oh, he's not going to do well. No, Haaland's a madness. If he stays in the league for at least a 5-6 year period, for me, he will go down as one of the greatest ever players. As long as he stays fit, Haaland. I think with the growth, and he's a big lad himself, if he can stay fit for the majority of his career, I think he will be regarded easily in the top 5 of players to ever play the football. Everyone might go, oh, he might not win the World Cup or Euros with Norway, but at the end of the day, it's difficult for him in terms of the country that he does represent on an international stage. But when you look at I compared him and Lewandowski in terms of an international level. You look at Lewandowski when he played for Poland. Of course, he was robbed of a Ballon d'Or, Lewan, over the last couple of years anyway. He should have easily won a Ballon d'Or in his career. Hopefully that does happen in the future. You never know. But It'd be similar in terms of international stage, those two. Yeah, Kane wants the Prem top scorer. I think he ends up at United. Yeah, the agree there, North. He's the last of Galacticos. Jack Kareem was there when Postman was manager as well. Gary, yeah, it's spot on there, Gary. You look at that window, Gary. I can see the picture that they brought in at the time, the legends that they brought in, as when Benzema was a 21-year-old. But what a player, chat! What a bloody player! Like, it doesn't help when Karius is throwing the ball to him in Champions League finals. But regardless of that, you look at his quality, his captaincy ability as well. Ridiculous, tremendous player. And for me, well, there was that debate on. I've seen debates on Twitter, and you're like, Real Madrid fans will love him forever. I think is he the second highest goal scorer in terms of Real Madrid's history, or I think it was I don't know if it was La Liga or if it was Real Madrid's history. But if it's Real Madrid's history in terms of all competitions, then yeah, easy. Of course, Ronaldo is the top goal scorer in La Liga terms. But keep an eye on that one, chat, in terms of Vega. I've got a feeling Gabriel Vega will be going to Newcastle. Newcastle need to improve that midfield. But let us know your thoughts on Karim Benzema, chat. And the final one, chat, in terms of, I think we mentioned at the top of the show, Zlatan Ibrahimović. I'll just bring up this statistic really, chat, in reality, in terms of Zlatan statistics. Can I move over there? Yeah, you do look at those statistics. In all honesty, you look at he played. I think he started off his youth career at Malmo, as a youngster in Sweden, and you look at that. The record speaks for itself, but just as serial competition wins as well. Ridiculous football player, and I still remember that. Was it the overhead kick that he done against England for Sweden? He was the man that lit up a room in a good way in terms of press conferences, but of course his football and appearances as well. He's a man that will always be remembered. Yeah, and yeah, he's 1.95 meters as a footballer. He's retired at 41. And yeah, chat, if you haven't seen the documentaries about Zlatan when he was at the time at Malmo, I think he was, go and check it out. It's on Twitter anyway. But short story, Zlatan was getting paid. Well, Zlatan's parents were getting paid. But basically Zlatan kicked off going, why am I not getting paid? The league turned around, Malmo were getting paid, or they were sending his wages to his mum and dad. And he turned around and said, right, Malmo, I'm going to be reporting you to the league or to the federation because you're paying me or you're paying me parents when I'm under the age of 16. And basically, as soon as he turned 16, or like a week or two passed, and Zlatan eventually got paid. It's typical Zlatan in terms of stories. He got probably crazy stories that will always be remembered, but what he is in terms of a winner in terms of European football, Zlatan Ibrahimović, remarkable footballer, more than remarkable. In terms of, he's won Footballer of the Year 15 times in relation to, obviously, Sweden. I think he's won that, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's won Footballer of the Year 12 years in Sweden, which is amazing in itself. He won the Puskas Award. I think that was in 2000. Yeah, that was in 2013. I think that was the overhead kick goal against England. I might be wrong there, chap, but apologies. He's got 6 times top goal scorer in his career as well. 3 times Player of the Year, Paris Saint-Germain. But yeah, the titles: 4 French league titles, 5 Italian Serie A titles. Ridiculous. Europa League winner, 2 French cups, 1 League Cup, 2 Spanish cups. Community Shield, 2 Dutch titles as well as a youngster in 2001, 2002 to 2003-04 season with Amsterdam. Ajax Amsterdam. 1 Dutch Cup as well. Yeah, the list goes on anyway. It's just sad that he didn't actually win a European Cup apologies and wrong there, chap, but I don't think he's actually ever won a European Cup, which for a player of that quality is, it'd probably be one of the greatest players that's never won a European Cup. Obviously, he's won the Europa League Cup. That counts as a European trophy. Of course, the FIFA Super Cup as well in 2009-10 with Barcelona, and of course, Europa League with Manchester United in the 16-17 season. But yeah, madness, chat. What a player, what a fella, and what an absolute quality fella as well. Zlatan. I'd say, and as I said at the top of the show, big up there, Maisie. Hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, as I said, Maisie, how would you judge, as the final closing point on tonight's show, chat, your thoughts on Zlatan? I love him as a player. Bit of a character, but I think that's what you need in football. He's a maverick, to say the least, anyway, in reality. And yeah, football will very much miss Zlatan. And the best was at the moment when he done that interview with, was it James Corden? And he literally bought out like the front page spread. I think it was like the New York Times, and he just said Zlatan, Zlatan welcomes, or that was it. Was it whatever? He put something on the New York Times anyway. It was like welcome, Zlatan welcomes whoever, LA, yeah, LA welcomes Zlatan or something. But yeah, it was madness. That's just the arrogance and the confidence and the quality of the fella anyway. Special player, I'll tell you what now. Do we need a mid rebuild? Yeah, definitely North. I've got a couple of shows planned for that, mate. Anyway, I think you've seen my video a couple of. I think I done like, there was that 12 months ago when we had a look at the player contracts. I think we done a video last season. I think all of us when we done that video when I was speaking to you in the comments. Yeah, it's not a point of, everyone knew, and especially Liverpool, we knew we were going to lose these players, but the club knew 2 years down the line, or previous anyway. So there was a lot of work to be done. But yeah, big up Maisie. McAllister deal done. Daz, not an official yet. Daz, just keep an eye. Just only look at Liverpool's website, mate. As I said, top of the show, I could have been dropping like about 5 McAllister videos every single day, but I just didn't want to bombard you with content and everyone check, because it just would have been the same thing rehashed in a different certain way anyway. But yeah, big up there, Andrew. Talk rubbish. Announcing, sorry, so yeah. It'll be interesting, Andrew. The Chelsea are desperate in terms of getting players into their football club, especially if they can't get Ugarte. If that report does come out tonight, that he's supposedly put a bid in to buy a certain percentage of Sporting Lisbon, which is mad if that is the case. But chat, yeah, it was only going to be a short one, chat. Apologies, it was a bit of a late one tonight. I will be live with the lads tomorrow at 7 p.m. It'll be a bit more of a panel show. Just speak about Liverpool's season. Speak a bit about, obviously, transfers. So keep an eye on the channel, chat. If you don't get your notification, we will be live at 7 p.m, chat. I look forward to it. And there'll be a lot more panel shows coming up this season as well. Less than me talking, which is great for everyone. But I just want to get a lot more people involved in terms of the next couple of months, but mainly in terms of the next season as well. A lot more rival fans. Me and Kev will be doing a lot more shows on the Kitmen as well. That'll be more Premier League neutral based. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But Andrew, Daz, Maisie, North, Ray as well, Connor, Gary, Doug, Wiggs as well, Callum, big up mate, and Kingsley. Every single one of you that has jumped in, and anyone, if you are watching, tell you what, if you're watching up to 50th minute mark now on the repeat, let me know if you have. But you're absolute legends. Really do appreciate your support as always, everyone. As I said, hope you've all had a great weekends. You go into work or whatnot, college or uni, and best of luck for everyone getting the results as well. I know the results in terms of university results and exams and all that are very soon, so fingers crossed for all you. I know you would have all smashed it, but best of luck as well. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m, chat, for more of a panel show discussion. And yeah, everyone, have a lovely rest of your night. A massive thank you as always for dropping in and getting involved. As always, look after yourselves, everyone. See you tomorrow at 7. Ta-ra.